Hey guys, Pear here. Well, I'm here right now at my desk as usual, just thinking about things, thinking about stuff, my collection, and just, other stuff. And I just realized to myself, while thinking about, money, my collection, I just realized that I'm literally handling polymer notes in my daily life now. I'm handling polymer notes in my daily life, so I want to show you these. So these are money that I've saved up, and these are polymer notes. You see that? Well, the light is kind of messing it up, but you can see that, right? This is a 50 polymer note. This is a 100 polymer note. And I still can't believe that I went from collecting polymer notes to using them in my daily life. So you can see that. I'm literally just counting it right now. I'm like, whoa. And I realized to myself that I've actually wished for this before. I've wished for this. I've wished for this. See those dots up there? I've wished for that. I've wished for that to happen to our currency. When I saw Australian banknotes for the first time, I was so in awe by it, because of how it's polymer, how it's colorful, and how they have dots for the blind. And just to let you know, this is my first Australian banknote. This is my first polymer note in my collection, along with a 50 Australian dollar note, which I converted years ago. But that 50 Australian dollar note was the note that inspired me and made me hope that we would have banknotes like them. And then years later, we finally did. And I'm really glad that we finally adopted the polymer technology. Just look at this. It's so beautiful in our currency. Now, our Southeast Asian neighbors already have these polymer currencies. I believe the oldest one to adopt this was Vietnam. You can see that right there. And then the second one is Singapore. $2, $5, $10. Oh no, wait, the oldest one is actually Brunei. This one's from the 90s. Then the second oldest one is Vietnam, then Singapore, then this one, Malaysia. Then here's the current Malaysian ones, both polymer. And then here, back in 2022, while we released our own polymer notes, Thailand also released theirs. And they released two new ones recently in the denominations of 50 and 100, just like us. And then back in 2022 we released our 1000 peso polymer note, and then in 2024 we released these. And I was literally like, oh my gosh, we finally have them. We finally have the technology. We are not so far behind from our Southeast Asian neighbors, and I really love that. And I've been hoping for this since 2021, since I've got my first Australian banknote. Because you know why? Money isn't just about money. It isn't just about value. Money is like a little business card to the country that you're visiting. This is one of the reasons why I collect banknotes. It's because they are beautiful. I love the security features, and they're like a little window to the country that I am buying the currency from. Just look at Singapore. We have Yusof bin Ishak on the front, and then on the back we have sports, and this gives me a little window within the country, and this tells me that Singaporeans play sports. Another note here, another one from Singapore, is this $2 note. This $2 note depicts education, which again gives me a little window into the country that they have great education. Singapore is known for being smart in Southeast Asia, and this banknote here alone literally tells us that. Now I want to move on from this topic, and then let's go to the next topic. Let's talk about the animals on the front. Now, there's nothing bad about putting fauna in your currency. The only problem is that some people are theorizing that they're doing this, that the government is doing this so that we could forget about our history and stuff. Well, I doubt it, but I don't think that's like too far from anything. But you know, I think the polymer notes are still possible here in the Philippines, even though we didn't change the portraits to animals. Like the Singaporean notes I showed you earlier, these used to be paper before, but yet they still have the president, the first president on the front. They didn't change it into the Merlion or something, no. They still have the first president on the front. Well, this one also used to be paper, but now it's polymer and it still has the king on the front. And I want to give a few more examples. You know, we have Mauritius. They had paper notes. Well, now they've turned them into polymer notes, and they still have the same portraits. See, polymer notes are possible even without changing the portraits. Look at New Zealand. In this series, it's paper. In this series, it's polymer. It's basically the same design elements, but yeah, polymerization is possible even though you didn't change a thing or two. Just slap on some transparent windows and you're fine. That's what New Zealand did. That's what Mauritius did. And that's what also a bunch of other countries did. So why did we change the portraits on the front? Why did we do that? In my theory, maybe it's because the government, the administration, maybe they want to, you know, neutralize things. Maybe they don't want things to get too political, especially when looking at banknotes or money. I mean, if you think about it, I guess it kind of makes sense because there's Ninoy Aquino and Cory Aquino in the 500 peso banknote, and sometimes, you know, some people might take it too literally and be like, oh, you know, I don't like this. It has these faces in the front. But that's another thing. Because they're removing the people in the front, we are forgetting what our past is. So, since the thing we see on the 500 note now is the Rusa Alfredi, we don't even know what that is, you know? I believe it was more sensible that we knew who the people were in the 500 peso note. Those two people fought for our democracy in this country. Now they've been replaced by a deer. I mean, deers are cool, but did they fight for democracy? Did one of them get assassinated? And another thing, the 1000 polymer note features 3 World War II heroes who were captured by the Japanese, and they did all of that just to get replaced by an eagle on the banknote. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Philippine eagle is such a great symbol for our country. The only problem is, these people deserve honor. These people deserve respect. And just like how Singapore and Thailand does it, even though they've changed their banknotes into polymer, they still feature the same person in the front. Singapore still has Yusof bin Ishak on the polymer version. They had Yusof bin Ishak on the paper version, they still have him on the polymer one. Thailand still has their king on the polymer version. They had him in the paper version, they still have him in the polymer one. They still have him in the polymer one. So yeah, I believe that polymerization is possible even without changing a thing. Maybe the design elements into, but the portraits, no. Let us not forget what our past is. We must remind ourselves that it's this, it's like this, it's like that. But either way, I believe this is a big step for us. I was literally dreaming about this. No, not the amount of money I have, but I was dreaming about this. I was dreaming about the Philippines having polymer notes, and then like 5 or 6 years later, that dream finally came true. This is a big step for us, and these banknotes, in particular, will help visually impaired people, especially because there's dots on the top. And you know, it's such a really great thing. I'm glad to really have it, because again, I've really dreamt about this for a really long time. I don't know who heard my dreams, I don't know who heard my thoughts. We as a country have to step up our game in different kinds of ways. If we want to look better, then we need to step up our game and get a makeover. If we want to get richer, then we need to step up our game and do more business. If we want to have better connections from point A to point B, then let's step up our game, build more railways that will ease traffic. There you go. It's not that easy. It's not easy. I'm saying this like it's easy, but it's not easy in reality. No, but I believe that we can do that if we just cooperate. You know, I believe it's possible if we cooperate with each other. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. I thought owning a collection this big was impossible. It's possible. Everything is possible. So yeah. This was once a dream. Now it's a reality. I thought it was impossible. Now it's possible. Everything is possible. Think about it. Make it happen. And if the government doesn't do it, we will make it happen. Us, the people, will make it happen. The government works for us because they are our servants. We are their bosses. So yeah. Anyways, that's the video for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new in some way. And to my fellow Southeast Asians, thank you for joining me in this video. If there's any fellow Southeast Asians, you know, like Singaporeans, Vietnamese, Malaysians, Indonesians, Bruneians, Thai, Cambodians, Burmese, people from Laos, I don't know what you call them, and you know, East Timorese people. I'll never forget East Timor, you know, they're part of us now. But yeah, again, thank you once again, and goodbye.